Hey, welcome to another episode of The Pursuit of Being a Stand-Up Leader. I'm Jared Whitman. I'm here with John Russell, the amazing, wonderful John Russell.
Woo!
We're breaking down John's book, Be a Stand-Up Leader, the ABCs of Getting the Job Done Right, chapter by chapter. Conversations have been phenomenal. We're actually batch recording these episodes. So we're in the O's, and it's like we're on the second half. Oh man, it's amazing. Today we're going to talk about outstanding customer service.
Let me just start by talking about your business, okay?
Sure.
You don't normally think about it like this. You're probably not expecting me to say this.
Right.
But customer service comes with everything all day. And I'll have to say, even though we're working together, your customer service with this podcast has been outstanding.
Thank you.
You know, it's just a great testimony to the truth. I'm kind of a customer service nut.
Yes.
You know, I'm a little obsessed with it.
Yeah.
You know, when I started my business, the whole focus was going to be on customer service. It still is in a way. It just happens to be related to advertising, sales, and marketing.
Yeah.
But we've all gone through life and had good experiences and bad experiences as customers. And either you do or you don't as a business. You know, I don't know a lot of companies that are what I'll call inconsistently good one day and bad the next.
Yeah.
Although I know that happens because a lot of times the employees haven't been given the right training or the right mentorship or the right coaching. And so is it the business's fault if an employee miscues on a customer service experience?
If they haven't been trained.
What if they have been and they're just not good enough? They just don't get it, or they forgot, or they need more training. You know, how much training do you give somebody after they fail a number of times?
I think that if the customer, or I'm sorry, if the employee has had the training and there's a process and there's a I can't think of another word for process, but so if there's a process for that, I think it's 80% on the employee to kind of represent, and 20% on the business.
Well, the owner or the managers or the stand-up leaders need to hold people accountable.
Yeah.
You know, in my opinion, customer service should be part of every transaction.
Oh yeah, I like every employee that's wearing your company's logo or is working on a job for your company is an extension of your brand and should be upholding your standards of customer service. So people answering the phone calls, dispatchers, if we're talking about home service companies, technicians out in the field.
Right.
Every interaction, anytime someone in your company or someone who's working with your company, like subcontractor, any interaction with a customer is an extension of your brand.
Yeah.
So Lucas here could, if he came in and started, throwing up swear words and was totally off brand, we would certainly have a conversation about how he's representing my character and my brand.
I hear you. One of the things that I always like to talk about is to ask a stand-up leader, what is your customer service strategy? Mm-hmm. And do you have a systematic approach to ensure that all your employees get it?
Yeah.
And they're able to deliver extraordinary customer service to your customers. And a lot of people can say, yeah, I have a customer service strategy, but a lot of people don't. And I always find it interesting because it takes so much energy, so much effort, so much money to get a new customer.
Oh, yeah.
And then you get a chance to wow them with customer service to create a customer for life,
Yep.
or you don't.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about wow service, and we talk about building a wall of service around our clients. There's a lot of different ways people think about service. I've had a lot of good experiences, but let me give you a bad experience. This is right fresh because it just happened to me. I just got a new Android phone. I spent a couple days researching whether or not I should get an Apple phone or an Android phone. And I went with the Android phone because I'm not necessarily an Apple guy, nothing against it, but the reviews for the Androids were as good or better than the Apple. So I'm like, hey, horse apiece, stay with the platform. So I went to US Cellular. I'm going to throw them right under the bus. Yeah. So the first guy that I talked to was really cool. Set it up, transferred all my data over. Everything was great. So I get back to my office and I'm like, oh, my email is not set up. So I call the guy up. He's like, bring it over. We'll take a look at it. So I go back to where I bought it from. And the guy looks at me when I come in the door and he says, you know, that's really not our thing. I'm like, really? You can't help me set up my email on my phone. No, I'm really not qualified to do that. You might want to go to the corporate store because we're just a franchise location. Okay. Where's the corporate store? Oh, it's over on Junction Road. Okay. I'm going over there. Call them up and tell them I'm coming. Right? I'm going to be fair. Get them warmed up, right? So the guy looks at me and goes, oh, they might not be able to help you. I'm like, well, somebody's got to help me, right? I need my email to work on my phone. Can't get it to work. Won't authenticate. Okay. So I go over there. There's 8 people standing around, twiddling their thumbs, literally standing there chatting, doing nothing. And I walk up to the one guy that's there, and he kind of looks at me like he knew I was coming.
Okay.
He kind of had a little smug look on his face, and I said, yeah, can you help me get my email started? He goes, don't you have an IT guy? I said, well, yeah, but I bought the phone from you. And I thought maybe you could help me get my email set up. So he looks at me like I'm speaking Chinese.
Yeah.
And he says, we don't do that here.
Okay.
I'm like, wow. So you sell the phones, but you don't set them up. He's like, no, we really don't. That's not our thing. He goes, maybe you should talk to somebody who can do that for you. I'm like, well, who would that be? Well, you know, those fix-it type places. I'm like, okay. So he kind of looked at me like I was in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And I personally, everybody stood around and stared at me like a bunch of idiots.
Okay.
And I sat there and thought to myself, you just sold me a $1,500 phone or however much it was. It wasn't cheap, you know, they're like mini computers.
Right. Yeah.
And you can't get my email to work for me.
Yeah. What I think is wild is that they probably knew that they wouldn't be able to help you. And still they had you come into the store to have someone tell you that they couldn't help you.
And then go to a second location.
And then go to a second location where, again, they still know that they couldn't.
It got kind of worse.
It got worse?
Well, it was just, they were kind of putting me down like I was stupid.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. They were treating me like I was an idiot because I couldn't get my email to work.
Yeah.
I left them with the following quote. I am amazed at this level of customer service. And I looked around at all 8 people standing there doing absolutely nothing. I turned around, walked out.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue to bash US Cellular for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Because they sold me a $1,500 or $2,000 phone and no interest in helping me at all.
Right.
So that's my rant.
That's fair.
Bad customer service.
I have an example of bad customer service, and it's happened several times, but it's not like it's a B2C business. So going to a bar, you know, and you're sitting at the bar, and the bartender is just on their phone. I grew up in a bar.
Right.
My stepdad
family business
owned the bar for 34 years. He just recently sold it. So I've seen that business grow, and being behind the bar and learning about that, the importance of all that stuff. When you are in a bartender situation, when you're a bartender, you need to focus on your customers and not your freaking phone.
Right. Right.
Your customers are...
Everybody's staring at their phone. You're like, whoa.
Your customers have the money, right? You want them to linger around. You want them to come back to your establishment.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be super interested in their lives, but having conversation.
Some interest.
Building rapport.
Some recognition.
Asking some questions.
That they're there.
If their beer glass or bottle is empty for 5 minutes, and you're just on your freaking phone.
Oh man, that's
you should
crazy.
not be in customer service.
Yeah, so we don't need to belabor the point. There is good customer service too, but overall customer service isn't what it used to be.
Right.
And a lot of it's outsourced.
Right. Oh yeah.
To India and wherever else, and it's hard to understand those people.
It's an automatic
AI, a chat bot.
Yeah.
You know how many times I get into the queue and I'm talking to some thing or somebody, it goes nowhere.
Right.
It's very rarely resolved.
Yeah. So
I know there's a sentiment across at least the United States that customer service is hard to find.
Right.
I'm suggesting that as a stand-up leader, you should make sure you and all your people have a systematic approach to customer service, and that your customers are feeling it, experiencing it, seeing it, touching it, and getting all you can be from a customer service point of view, because you spent all this work trying to get a customer. You should probably think about, maybe I'd like to have a customer for life.
Yeah.
And it's not that hard if you show them you care. It takes a little bit of effort.
It's a lot cheaper to
keep a happy customer.
To keep a happy customer and to resell to a customer that already loves to do business with your brand.
Yeah.
Than to find a new customer.
Yeah. It's not hard.
Yeah.
It's super easy, and we are really good at that. I'm obsessed with customer service. So if you feel like you're lacking in customer service, you should put together some training videos for your people, and you should hire us to get your customer service program on a track that your customers are going to love. Thanks for being with us today. We'll see you on the next episode.